When Lino Ferreira stepped away from the family business back in 2011, it was supposed to mark the end of an era. Having co-founded the Fruitspot with his brothers back in 1989, Ferreira had built one of South Africa's leading fruit and vegetable distribution businesses, culminating in a headline sale to retail giant Massmart. What followed was a harsh lesson in the pitfalls of scale without soul. You're listening to the Monocle Banking Podcast, brought to you by Monocle Solutions. And in the next 40 minutes, you'll hear the behind-the-scenes story of what happens when M&A goes awry and how true grit South African entrepreneurship will always find a way. In a world of logistics chains and market margins, freshness might not sound like a strategy, but at Ferreira Fresh, I think it's everything. Born from family roots and nurtured into a scalable fresh and frozen produce processing business, Ferreira Fresh has become a key player in the food supply chain in South Africa. With a portfolio of large clients, a sharp focus on quality, and now the backing of private equity firm Vuna Partners, they certainly look poised for their next phase of growth. I caught up with Lino Ferreira, the hands-on founder and CEO, to dig into his entrepreneurial journey, the recent PE partnership, and how they're cultivating transformation along the way. Lino, great to have you on the show. Just take us back to the start, the very beginning. Ferreira Fresh is a family business after all. How did it all begin?
Yes, it's quite a long story in that. In fact, my son, Keanu Ferreira, started it. And in fact, to go a bit further back, I actually started with my two brothers at the Fruitspot.
Oh.
And then what happened there is my son decided he didn't want to go back to varsity. He wanted to kind of join me in the fruit and veg game. So I said to him, listen, my son, this is not easy. It's not for sissies. It's long hours. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning till 12 at night. You kind of got to give up your friends, your golfing, so much, long nights, weekends. So I said to him, listen, you gotta study. In this day and age, you gotta have a degree behind you. So I sent him back to varsity. At that stage, he was doing a BCom. He went back to varsity for another week. Next minute, I see him back at my doorstep saying, no, Dad, I want to join you. All over again, I gave him the speech. He said, no, listen, Dad, I really want to join you. I said, okay. He came to the Fruitspot for an interview, and that's what happened. He went for an interview. He started at the Fruitspot. He went through the whole process, got the job, and that was it. He got hooked into fruit and veg. Stayed at the Fruitspot for a good part of 6 months. I was learning how to pick, pack fruit and veg, like we all start at the bottom and that. And then what happened is, because with Fruitspot, Massmart had bought us, we'd just gone through this whole sale with Walmart buying Massmart and Massmart buying Fruitspots. What happened is we're very corporate at that stage, and a lot of our corporate Walmart partners here, and with unionized and everything, they were actually saying it was a bit of nepotism that my son was here. So I kept hearing this nepotism coming up.
Oh.
So I said, guys, you're not defending my son, and that saying that, listen, he came in for the job interview, he got the job the correct way, and he's doing the job the right way. He got the job the right way, he's busy doing the job. So I felt there was a bit of jealousy. I don't know what it was. I said, look, if you guys don't want my son in the business, I can ask him to leave. They were very surprised at this. So I said, you know what? They said, can you do that? I said, yes, I can. So I said to Keanu, you know what? They want you to leave. So I said, okay, resign. I said, just go ahead and start your own business.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. He resigned and he started his own business. He actually partnered up with his cousin at that stage, Michael Ferreira and Keanu Ferreira, and they started Ferreira Fresh. And that was about, I think it's close on 9 years now. So a mate of his had a hotel, and there was, in the back of the hotel, there was a kitchen that had about 30 square meters with a little fridge in.
In Bramley, I believe.
And in Bramley, that's correct, in
Yeah.
Bramley. And they started off there and that, and they started doing these fruit boxes to the corporate industry. And it was tough for them. We went to the market buying some fruit, and they would pack these boxes and go out and try and sell it day in, day out. And it was tough because it's not that easy to just sell that kind of fruit, you know what I mean, to corporate. But his first month, I'll never forget, he says he sold, it was 18,000 rands worth of fruit boxes. And I said to him, listen, are you guys playing or what? You know what I mean? 18,000 rand. He was crazy with me. He said, Dad, we worked so hard on that 18,000 rand. But anyway, it went month after month, and they picked up a bit more. And then I actually thought, you know what? Let me actually resign from the Fruitspot and just join them and see, because I've been in the business basically all my life and that,
Yeah.
and see if I could give them a hand. And then I ended up buying a property in Limbra Park, which was about 20,000 square meters, the actual land size. And it was actually a pigeon farm. They used to do the race from Midrand,
Ah,
Limbra Park to Sun City. They had the
yeah,
$1 million
yeah,
pigeon
yeah,
race.
yeah.
Yes, I bought that place, and from there I joined them, and then we actually built a couple of fridges and modified one or two rooms there. And from there we went and we made it bigger and bigger, and we bought one or two extra vehicles, and it just grew from strength to strength. And we kept, as they were building the business, I was building the premises, making it bigger and bigger. So we grew about, sure, we went from, I think, 150 square meters. The place was about 150 square meters to about 3,000 square meters on that premises.
Mm,
Every time we were just increasing it to like 400 squares, and went to 800 squares, and went to
sure.
1,200, and we kept growing like that. And then, yeah, we were increasing all the time. And then we were kind of kept growing and buying vehicles and that. And then one of the Michael's, Shamkianu's cousin, felt that it wasn't really for him, Michael. He wanted to go back into what he loved doing, because he was brilliant with his hands, and he went back into making furniture and that, out of
Yeah,
natural wood.
yeah.
He's done extremely well, and he kind of left us and went back into what he liked doing. And yeah, we went from strength to strength. From there, we kind of then, at that stage, what happened is Fruitspot had actually then was starting to sell their business. They were selling Fruitspot, they were selling Cambridge, some of their Cambridge stores, and they were selling the meat business to Checkers. It was a huge deal for about 1.2 billion
Yeah.
rand. It
To
was
Rhino. Yeah.
to Checkers. I think
To
they were selling
Checkers.
it to
Yeah.
Checkers, but it
Yeah.
took about 2 years to actually happen. And within that 2 years, they were kind of winding down the fruit spot in that. So that really helped us pick up a hell of a lot of business. And while that was kind of happening, I still owned the property where Fruit Spot was running from. So when they sold and exited out of the Fruit Spot premises, I was able to take it back and renovate it. And by then, we could move out of the premises where we were and move back into nearly like brand new facilities, because I'd redone it. And this was 10,000 square meters here now. So we moved into brand new 10,000 square meter facility, which was amazing because we had grown so much. We were growing sometimes 170% a year, so it was
Wow.
unbelievable. We went from, I mean, within the space of shame when actually COVID time, we actually dropped a hell of a lot. I mean, I missed that whole section. It was terrible because we did the hospitality industry
Yeah.
primarily, so we dropped a hell of a lot when COVID came. But
All the
after
restaurants and
COVID,
hotels closing. Yeah.
yes, all of that, the hospitality side, the airlines, because we do the airlines and all of that really closed down. But when we got back into it, then, I mean, we went, I think, something like from 12 vehicles, and we moved back in last year. Well, we've been here now about 14 months in this new facility where the Fruitspot used to be 10,000 square meters. And this month now, we'll actually, in about a week's time, we're going to receive another 4 vehicles, and we'll have 74 vehicles.
Wow.
So to give you where we've come from within the last 9 years,
Wow.
we will have 74 vehicles. And to give you the numbers where we're doing about 250 to 300 tons a day of fruit
Whoa.
and veg in and out of here.
On that, before we get to the
Yeah.
need to bring in outside investors and kind of institutionalize the business a little bit, I mean, the produce game isn't for the faint-hearted. You've got tight margins, you've got perishability, you've got price volatility. How do you manage those risks day to day? What's the insight to running a successful fruit and veg business, so connecting farmers to markets the way that you've done and built a career around?
Michael, you know what? This is crazy. I've been doing this now for about 40 years and that. This now, it's a third generation that we're actually doing it. So my dad did it, I did it, now my son's doing it. And it's all about just doing it every day and just doing it with passion every day, wanting to do it and just doing it to your best and just learning every single day. And like with farmers and that, we deal with the same kind of farmers every day. A farmer can today deliver, let's just give you an example, a gem squash, where a lot of countries don't even grow a gem squash.
Yeah.
If you're a farmer that grows gems, a gem squash is normally a fill-in vegetable where it will just grow like kind of wild in the land.
Yeah.
And if you grow gems all the time, when we go back, gems used to be something. I mean, I know going back, if you go back maybe 15, 18 years ago, you'd buy gems for 3 Rand a bag. These days, you can buy gems can go up to 160, 180 Rand a bag, which it was a price you wouldn't have heard of at all. So it varies from really, like, you would still buy gems today. It could go down to 20 Rand a bag, but it can vary from 20 Rand
Yeah.
to 180 Rand. So a farmer just needs to be there every day doing what he does. And he's not sure what exactly the price he'll actually get. It's supply and demand. And with us, it's just knowing that you kind of feel like you know what the price should kind of be, or you know when to buy, you know how much to buy, and you're buying such big volumes, and you need to make sure that you are not throwing away your wastage. It must be a bare minimum to make sure that you show the right kind of profit and when to buy, that it doesn't. I mean, there's times of the year that, like a potato in December, because of the rain and the heat, it rots much quicker than
Oh.
now because there isn't much rain in that. Your potato will last you a month, but in December it will last you a week or 4 days. So there's so much to know about this game. It's all just experience that we've kind of paid our school fees.
Pass that knowledge on from generation to generation. It really is
That's
fascinating.
exactly it.
You recently brought in Vuna Partners as a strategic investor. What drove that decision?
Well, you know what? Let me tell you, when I said to my son, okay, we're going to open this business, or you'll open this business, I said one day we would sell this business,
Yeah.
and we were actually working, and we had a gentleman that one day walked in and wanted to buy part of our business, and that. And we said we wouldn't mind selling part of it to help us with our BE, so that we would actually be able to get also a level because a lot of people we supply, the impacts, the table groups, they
Yeah.
ask us for a BE rating, and we don't have any. And a lot of people, like even Sun International, you can't even
Yeah.
apply to supply to them unless you've got a BE rating. So eventually, Sia walked in, and then we just liked his demeanor, I suppose, and the way he spoke. And we thought, you know what, it looked like he could be the right partner for us, And we said, listen, we would sell a percentage if you would kind of pay the price that we were actually looking for. We didn't feel it was the right time to sell, but then we structured a deal that would kind of work for us. And we thought that if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And
Yeah.
Sia seemed like the right kind of person
Mm.
to structure a deal with. And it looked like it worked very well.
So I was going to ask you, how has it worked? Because I think often family businesses, especially, you hesitate to bring in external capital. You worry. I mean, as your experience demonstrated selling Fruitspot to Massmart, things become over corporatized, too bureaucratic, and you lose a lot of the energy, the soul of the business. Some founders really worry about that. How have you and Vuna managed that tension, and how have you found that journey that you've walked with private equity so far in SEA?
You see, now that's exactly it. And you know what? I'm so happy that we had done a deal with Massmart and Walmart because that, I must tell you, was disastrous. That was really, to me, I didn't enjoy that at all. It was definitely much too corporatized, and that's what I needed to make sure that I wasn't going to go through the same mistake again.
Yeah.
So with our deal, we made sure that it was only 40% so that we would still stay in charge of the business and we'd be able to do what we do best is run the business. And we knew that whoever we brought with us would enjoy the ride because they were going to come for a nice ride with us because we knew what we were doing and we'd carry on doing what we do best. And that's what's actually happened. They've come along with us and they don't interfere much. We have our board meetings and we carry on running the business. We three directors, and all three directors are involved in the business. We participate every day, and we active, and we're not directors that just look into the business. We participate in it. We're active. We're here every day. There's always a director on board at the business every day.
Yeah, yeah. And back to that, obviously, the transformation requirements are important in the supply chain, and your key customers like really asking for that. You're targeting what, a level 4 triple BE rating, or have you achieved that already? Where are you on the
Yes.
road?
We're very proud to say we've achieved it. I think we got our certificate a week ago, and we are level 4 now for the first time. It was a long road, a hell of a long road, but we have received it now, so and we're super excited about that. Yeah, so I mean that should even help us further now, so much so that we can now apply to supply people like Sun International and a few of the customers that we weren't able to even fill in the application to supply them, I
Yeah,
suppose, I
yeah.
mean, that we would get blocked straight away because they ask you what is your level, and if you can't fill it in, well, that's it.
I'm an individual sole prop, and I find it
Yeah,
infuriating that I've got to go and refresh my affidavit to prove that I'm just me, a white male. I can't change the color of my skin, but that's just the
yeah,
nature of empowerment laws in South Africa and what one has to do.
yeah, that's it,
But
I mean,
that
yeah.
I believe you recently brought in your first black female FD. What was behind that appointment, and how is she kind of integrated into the finance function at Ferreira Fresh?
Yeah, she's actually been amazing in that. We've run very tight here in that, everybody that's here really earns their keep in that, We don't have at Fruitspot before, I think we had something like 5 or 6 CAs running around, so it's not the kind of way we run. Everybody runs their keep. They do maybe 2 or 3 different jobs at the same time. but she's really done a good job. She's fitted in really well. Been here nearly, well, I'm not sure, about 8 months or so. But yeah, she's fitted in really nicely, really, really nicely. We're really happy to have her. It's great. I mean, we're up to about, I think we're about 320 staff strong, and we've got our own Provident Fund now that we're actually running as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's great.
Back to the balance sheet. I mean, I think one of the promises of private equity is smarter capital. Can you walk us through how Vuna helped you optimize your balance sheet? And I believe you've also leaned on them for some bolt-on diligence and M&A strategy.
Yeah, we're lucky that we've actually been very strong in that way, and that we haven't needed too much funding for that kind. It's been nice to have them, but where they've helped us is they've been involved in 4PL, apparently, is also one of their companies, or they've got
Yeah.
joint ownership with it. With them, every 3 years, they trade in some of their vehicles. And my favorite vehicles are Scanias and Volvos and that. And within our board meetings and that, we talk about different things, and we found out that they had 12 vehicles that they were trading in, and we just acquired two of them that we could buy second hand, that they were still on a full maintenance lease. So that really helps us. It's basically nearly at half price, 100,000 kilometers. And these Scanias can run to 1.5, 2 million kilometers. So it was really lucky for us to purchase two of them, and we've just actually received them about a month ago, and it was nice to kind of get that at that half price, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to pick up something as clean as that. They come with
Yeah.
basically new tires, and they don't have scratches on.
And
They get
trusted.
them,
Yeah.
yeah, trusted, all full service. And because when you come from a full maintenance lease, there's nothing wrong with them and that. So with Vuna Partners, it was just nice doing the deal with them. Just nice, honest gentlemen. I mean, Sia and his partners are really great, and it's just not a hassle there. And I mean, when it was time to pay, it was paid, and they're acquiring a lot of other businesses, looks like it, and that. And there just isn't a hassle there. There hasn't been one. I don't expect there to be one. And we're just growing so nicely. I think they're extremely happy with us, because I think we've done extremely well and are doing extremely well. And yeah, there's so much growth. We wanted to actually open in Cape Town, but at this stage, we're growing so much here that we need to hang in here a bit longer before we kind of open in the Cape.
Yeah. Where do you see Ferreira Fresh in the next 5 years, given that growth runway that you just mentioned?
Sure, my word, Ferreira Fresh. In the next 5 years, I see them shooting the lights out. I see Ferreira Fresh could be doing crazy numbers and that. Depends where the youngsters actually want to take it and that. I have actually put some good youngsters in the business here now. My son's nice and young, 30 years old. So we're building up a younger team. But who knows, in the next 5, 10 years, we could be a 2 billion rand company
Wow.
easily.
Fantastic. And just lastly, what advice would you give to other entrepreneur founders trying to attract growth capital, given the experience that you've had? Very interesting road. One on the Fruitspot's exit to Massmart, and now a much better experience with Vuna Partners. What advice would you have to other entrepreneurs out there?
You've got to just want to do it, and you've got to be hungry enough to want to do it, and you've got to just wake up every day and just commit to it every day. It's a everyday scenario. I find every day, and some days you don't enjoy doing it, but then you end up loving to do it.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
gets more and more exciting. I mean, I wouldn't want to do anything. I love it. I absolutely love it. And that's why I'm still in it, and I love it, and I just love speaking about it. And I love just getting another customer, and I love a happy customer. And I tell so many people, you mustn't do it for the money. when you look after the customer, the money will just follow you.
Yeah.
It's the most amazing thing.
Yeah.
If you, everything is about service.
Yeah.
Once you give service, the money will just follow you. It's the most amazing thing. And we go in and find a customer. When we go see a customer, we will not come back with a customer. It is the easiest thing to get a customer. There's no reason why we will not bring a customer. We've got all the tools to bring the customer. If we are summoned to go see a customer, we will bring the customer. We know how to bring that customer back. There's no reason we will not bring the customer back. We've got all the tools to bring the customer back.
Well, the
We
customer,
know the recipe.
yeah,
Like if we go and see the customer, say somebody phones us and says, can we buy from you? Or for whatever reason, we will go out and approach a customer. If it's an airline, if it's an export customer, we do the biggest variety in fruit and veg in the country. So if I can explain to you, we do from a watermelon heart for Valentine's Day to a 40-foot container now to Dubai. We do. So anywhere in between there, we can supply. If it's a fruit and it's a vegetable, cut in any shape or size, we do. Whole or cut or diced or sliced, we do. Anywhere in this country, or now we're starting to do anywhere in the world. We've just started.
wow. And, also on the back of the incredible farming community we have in South Africa, it, sometimes amazes me how government treats that particular section of South African business. And I wish sometimes it would just take its concerns a little more seriously around expropriation without compensation and,
Yes.
feeling particularly targeted as a group in South Africa. But I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Lino Ferreira, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Great sharing your story of growth, grit and green beans, and with Keanu at the helm and yourself, surely one of the fastest growing in the sector. And let's hope you keep it crisp serving your customers into the future. Take care.
Thank you so much, Michael. God bless. Thank you.
Well, if you enjoyed the conversation, please follow, rate and share the show and send feedback or guest ideas to the team at Monocle. I'm Michael Avery. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.